So introduce yourself and say what you do.
My name's Sarah Sess, and I work at Children's Hospital as an anesthesia technologist in the operating room.
Perfect. Why did you choose this career?
So it actually was not my first option. I wanted to go to nursing and ended up not liking it and switched over and everything transferred. And it just kind of worked out that way, and I've loved it ever since.
What kind of schooling did you have to do, and like what was the path from school to becoming full time like you are now?
So schooling, it was 4 years, but I started with nursing and everything transferred, all my prereqs, all my nursing classes, everything transferred. And from there, I started at the bottom with Children's Hospital. It's really hard to get in, so I really started at the lowest I could and kind of worked my way up. I started with transport, which didn't require any degrees or anything like that. And kind of with Children's, what they do is they really try to keep all the employees that they have. They don't want to have to bring in all these new ones. So starting there, when they have new positions opening up, they look at their current employees before hiring new people, and just kind of slowly work my way up.
What kind of hours did you start with, like when you're in the early stages of that, and then what are you working now as far as like how many a week and like overtime and like certain weird scheduling?
So with my old position, it was kind of standby, just kind of you come when they need you, and then it went to, we call it FTE, which is how many shifts you have to work in the pay period. And I started at a 0.8, so each week I worked 4 days. Now I'm at a 1, so I work full time. I'm on second shift, so typically it's 2 to 10:30, 2 to 12:30, or 2 to 2:30. You kind of have your options between 8 hours, 10 or 12s. Recently we've been short-staffed, so I've been doing mandatory overtime, which really sucks because it's about 5 12-hour shifts in a week. We have to work, I think it's 1 every 3 months on the weekends. With my old position, it was like every other weekend though. And those are 12 hours, and then we're always on call for the most part. You can get called in at any time.
Does that have any like bad effects on your personal life, or I guess possible good effects, or is it just constant work? Or
it's always constant work because I'm always on call. You kind of always have to have your phone on you. It always has to be on loud. It's very difficult to have a social life because it's so draining at times. There's weeks, it just takes everything out of you, and then there's other weeks where it just flies by. But thankfully it's a set schedule, except for when you pick up and have that overtime. But it's a hit or miss, to be completely honest. But I'm kind of used to it now. But at first it was not very easy to get used to.
Working a second shift like that, you're kind of in like the meat hours of the day. It seems like for bad stuff, you see what's like some of the crazy, odd stuff that you see working there.
Well, it's definitely the happy hour of the day, that's for sure. So we still have surgeries that go, since I'm in the operating room, we still have planned surgeries. They can go as late as 8, 9 o'clock at night. But our traumas typically come in anywhere between then and 4 in the morning, especially on the weekends, and especially on Mondays, weirdly so. But you get anything. You get anything between gunshots and child abuse and sex trafficking. You get all of it. But it's definitely the meatiest hours.
Yeah, you're in like the worst part of the day there.
Yes, it takes up your entire day.
And you were saying too, it's children's, but you can, like, there's different ages that can be above 18, right?
So we go up to 21, and if you have a chronic disease, we won't kick you out. So we legally can't not treat people. If someone walks in our emergency room and they're having a heart attack, we're not going to send them away because they're 50 years old. I've had patients who are, I think my oldest patient I treated was a 78-year-old, somewhere in the 70s. And a lot of it is because you'll be born with a heart disease or some kind of chronic illness that they'll have for a lifetime, and we won't just ship you off. They'd rather keep you with the surgeons and the doctors that you've had so they know you specifically, and work with you for your whole life, pretty much.
That makes sense too. What's some of the more rewarding things that you deal with?
So, unfortunately, I don't really get to see a lot of the aftermath. I kind of see the during and the fixing part. The most rewarding is definitely seeing the parents' faces. I don't always get to see when the kids get to walk or they get to see their new prosthetic or like anything of the aftermath. But we definitely get to tell the parents that, okay, your kid's gonna live, or your kid now is cancer free. That's probably specific to my department, the most rewarding, and just knowing that you actually had an effect in that and you helped save a life to an extent.
That would definitely be pretty awesome. Do you have any regrets as far as like anything from schooling to where you're at now or anything like that?
I definitely still, some days I wish I still went for nursing, but I wouldn't end it just with nursing. I would definitely have gone further and been a CRNA, which is a certified registered nursing anesthetist. They pretty much run the OR. They do everything that I assist with and help with. But I think if I went back and did it all over again, I'd probably do that. However, that's a lot more time management. You don't really have a social life outside of that. Definitely pays a lot more, but you definitely pay for it in the end. But regrets with my department, no.
Do you have any like plans for like schooling
Go back.
ahead, or like
I
are
wanna
you
go
kind of
back
like
to
at the
school.
peak right now?
No, I definitely want to go back to school. I'd rather go back sooner than later, just because I'm young and want to get it over with. At the end of it, I'd love to eventually have a doctorate. I'm not sure exactly the steps on what I'd like to take, but I know Children's has a tuition reimbursement program, and then as well as if you are furthering your education with your department, and it's not if it's mandatory, but if they prefer it, if they require it even, they will pay for it in full. So with our hospital, their tuition reimbursement is more like, all right, every year you work, we give you X, Y, and Z amount of money. Versus other hospitals, it's like a contract. They'll say, hey, if you work for 15 years with us, we'll give you this money. So with Children's, it's a little different. It's kind of, we're not going to make you stay for a lifetime, get paid off. It's more a year to year sort of thing.
That's pretty solid, actually.
You
don't gotta like get sucked in and stay in one spot.
Yep.
All in all, like if you had like one favorite part of the job, if it's like people you work with, or just like, is there anything that stands out where you're just like amped to go to work for, X, Y, and Z reason?
I think for me personally, it's every day is different. I'm not a 9-to-5 desk job person. I'm definitely hands-on. We deal with kids who are little punks who you just want to smack sometimes, but then we also deal with the little sweet girls that you just want to take home. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if your kid's going to make it. You don't know if they're going to be completely fine at the end. And I like the fact that I don't know what I'm going into. I could come home bawling my eyes out, or I'm going to come home extremely grateful. And I like the not knowing part.
Heck yeah. Well, I appreciate you answering some questions, and thank you for helping me out on it.
You're welcome.